Please be seated. I am Jeff Morin, president of the college, and it is my honor, my joyful moment to welcome you to this commencement ceremony. Didn't the practicing help? It's my pleasure to welcome the graduates, families, friends, all the community around you today. And also my privilege to introduce the MC for today, who is, with today's ceremony, completing her FYE experience. No, it's not someone from the first year class. It is our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Jody Eastberg, who is completing her first year here at MIAD with this graduation ceremony. Jody?
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning, and wow, I really want to give credit to the illustration students for the decorations on your mortar boards today. They look amazing. So, but even more importantly, congratulations to the MIAD class of 2026. As I complete my first year at MIAD as your vice president, I've had the privilege of getting to know many of you by visiting classes, problem solving through challenges, and enjoying your thesis event at the Oriental Theater last night. It was really fantastic. Congratulations. There have also been a lot of small moments. I have an important job, like helping you choose between sprinkles, powdered or chocolate donuts on Donut Day. I remember many of you from that event. And in each of these interactions, you've embodied MIAD's values of creativity, kindness, inclusion, and community. Through it all, you've set an incredibly high bar for my expectations for a senior class and demonstrated what makes the MIAD community so special. We are all fortunate to be part of it. To the families and friends joining us today, thank you for your encouragement, support, and care you've given these graduates throughout their journey. Your presence here is an important part of this celebration. This morning, you'll hear just a glimpse of what makes this class and MIAD itself so extraordinary through the voices of our student and faculty speakers. And now, it's my pleasure to introduce Parker Deutsch, elected to speak on behalf of the graduating illustration majors. Parker is from Wilmette, Illinois, and is receiving his BFA in illustration with animation track, summa cum laude. So, Parker, take it away.
We did it, Jeff. It's hard to believe it's already been 2, 3, almost 4 years since we all began our journey at MIAD. It feels like just yesterday, I, along with many of you, made that initial, seemingly endless trek during orientation week to the Milwaukee Art Museum after the buses never showed, or were advised to shelter in the Union after a tornado touched down in the county for the first time in 22 years. As an aside, this speech was written before thesis week. I apologize for manifesting that. The bonds forged in both of those days have lasted many a semester, and I'm grateful to still call many of my peers whom I met during my first week in MIAD my friends. Through unprecedented weather events and day-to-day learning alike, MIAD's staff and faculty have been with us through it all. Whether it be mentoring us through our first year college classes in the FYE program, or guiding us through the rigorous production of our cumulative thesis project, I'd like to thank each and every one of our faculty members for the hand they have played in our education, and especially those who are not with us today. I am certain that my personal journey throughout MIAD could have happened nowhere else. Sure, I was able to improve my skills as an artist and leave with a portfolio I'm proud of, but I was also granted the ability to flourish as a person. I've become unrecognizable in comparison to my bright-eyed, bushy-tailed 18-year-old self in the best way possible. And I owe this change to all of my friends, family, staff, and faculty alike. Likewise, this experience has led me to places I'd never once considered I would end up. From volunteering at a wildlife rehab center as part of our service learning credit and rediscovering my love for animal management, to studying abroad in a rural seaside town in the west of Ireland and experimenting with a newfound passion for photography, my practice as an artist was not only affected, but my identity as a whole. I cannot imagine what my life would have looked like without these experiences, and I'll be forever grateful to MIAD for providing these opportunities and many others alike to its students. Well, whether this ceremony marks the end of your formal academic journey or graduate school awaits you in the near future, never stop your pursuit of knowledge and awareness of the world around you. Find and foster community wherever you venture and proudly step through those doors that have now been opened for you. Take the chance on opportunities that may frighten you because, who knows, it might be the thing you've been unknowingly searching for. It has been a true honor to watch each and every one of you develop not only as artists, but as individuals. No matter where we may end up after today, keep that passion you harbor for illustration and animation alive, be it out of spite for generative AI or for pure love of the game. Thank you.
Thank you, Parker. Next, it is my pleasure to introduce Adam Osgood, Professor of Illustration and 2006 MIAD alum. Adam is an award-winning illustrator with a passion for motion-based illustration. He's created work for clients including Hyundai, Lionsgate, and Yahoo. His animation work has been screened at festivals including the London International Animation Festival and Holland Animation Film Festival. Adam's book, Motion Illustration: How to Use Animation Techniques to Make Illustrations Move, was published by Bloomsbury in 2024. It's my pleasure to welcome Professor Adam Osgood.
Congratulations, class of 2026. As you know, my name is Adam Osgood, and I'm a professor in the illustration department and animation track. I'm also an alum of this program and get to work with many of the teachers who helped shape my path in life. I have the honor today of speaking to you on behalf of the faculty. I graduated from MIAD in 2006, and coincidentally, today happens to be exactly 20 years ago since I was sitting in one of your seats. The incredible thing about time is how fluid it is and how quickly it seems to pass by. I remember the 2006 graduation ceremony as if it were only yesterday. Two things especially stick out in my memory. First, my mom told me I was not allowed to decorate my hat because she wanted the deposit back from Jostens. Second, I couldn't wait for my professional life to begin. I was in a rush to start the fantasy of what I thought being a professional illustrator would be. I couldn't wait for the ceremony, my graduation party, and all of the other in-between moments to be over with so I could land the defining project where I could finally feel like I made it. What I've learned in these 20 years is that most artists, despite amazing professional track records, never truly feel like they've made it, because there's always a bigger project just out of arm's reach. Understanding this can be valuable knowledge. It's important to pause and take time to appreciate the small wins and successes, but even more importantly, to celebrate the oftentimes messy daily journey of the in-between. I had a book published a couple years ago, which, when it came out, was exciting for a couple days, but it wouldn't have felt momentous without 4 years of writing, shepherding contributors, appeasing editors, and engaging with a team of designers. As you start the next phase of your life, try your best to enjoy each moment of the messy in-between. You only get to do something for the first time, one time, so try to enjoy all of it, from the simple joy of making, to the mind-numbing process of preparing your taxes, to the challenges of working with a client who thinks making art is easy. The entire journey, even the frustrating parts, is what makes the successes feel earned. In preparing this speech, I've been trying to think about the advice that has been most useful to me as a human artist, traversing the global economics of planet Earth, and especially what would have been most useful for me to think about at the start of my career. All of the best advice I've received comes down to the same idea: be slow and steady working towards your goals. I want to talk about how you can be the tortoise, slow, steady, persistent, in 3 areas of your life: your wallet, your work, and your world. Number 1, Start planning your retirement today. When I was in my early 20s, I was in a car accident. After that, I saw a chiropractor once a week for several years. While she was never able to fix my back, she did set me on the path towards financial security. Every time I visited her office, she would lecture me about personal finances. And she told me that I needed to open a Roth IRA. My family never talked about money, and I didn't know what a Roth IRA was or how valuable this advice would turn out to be, but because I trusted her, I went to the bank and opened a retirement account and very slowly started putting money into it. There were certainly moments during my early 20s where I could have used the retirement money to help with my bills, and logging into my bank account and seeing that chunk of cash just sitting there was not satisfying. However imperceptible, the money slowly grew, and now 20 years later, I continue to add to it, and it continues to grow through simple investments. I know that in 20 more years, when I'm starting to think about the next phase of my life, I will be grateful to 22-year-old Adam for listening to Dr. Ronchetti's advice about starting that account. While I cannot give you specific financial advice, I do encourage you to start saving now, slow and steady. Your money will grow all on its own if you take advantage of compound interest, but you need lots of time to make that happen. Start small and try to put a consistent amount of money in your retirement account each month. For instance, if you deposit just $20, I think you can all do that, a month, for 40 years, you'll have spent only $10,000 in 40 years. However, with reasonable rates of return, you will likely quadruple your investment and you'll get $30,000 in free money. Why wouldn't you want $30,000 in free money? Give your 60-year-old self that gift. My chiropractor taught me that a retirement account isn't a vault you fill all at once. It's a series of tiny, unremarkable deposits that over time can transform into financial independence. Number 2, be tenacious in your art practice. You are the next generation of designers, artists, illustrators, animators, writers, and community activists. You have an innate need and desire to create. For some of you, success will come easy. Perhaps you already have a job lined up in your field, and this is truly wonderful. For others, the journey to artistic success will be a long and winding road. This is okay, and you are not alone. The most important thing you can do is to be persistent and consistent with your art practice. Think about your practice like the retirement account you are all going to start Monday morning when the bank's open. How can you be persistent in making deposits in your art practice so that in 20 years you can look back and see major growth? Challenge yourself to set aside time every day to draw or make something. It doesn't have to be a big project or something that's great or even good or something that takes a lot of time to make. It could just be 20 minutes a day. The key is to keep making and keep sharing. The only way to fail at this is to stop. When I was younger, one of my teachers told me not to compare myself to others. I always thought that was great advice. Remember that the only person you are in competition with is yourself, and you get to decide what the stakes are. As long as you can look back in 1 year, or 5 years, or 20 years down the road and see that you've grown and done things you were proud of, that's what matters. Number 3, engage in your democracy. Just as you must be tenacious in your studio, you must be vigilant in your community. Because your art does not exist in a vacuum. It exists in the context of global economics and geopolitics. I'm going to tell you something I think you know already. You are about to enter a turbulent economy. As I mentioned earlier, I graduated in 2006. Little did I know that the housing crisis was just a couple years away and our economy was on the brink of failure. At that time, I worked as a graphic designer for a global talent firm called Aquent at a boutique agency within Rockwell Automation. That's the building with a clock tower across the river. In 2009, our CEO gathered every Aquent studio across the country onto a single speakerphone call and fired all of us from his office in Boston. In that moment, I was devastated and confused. I depended on that job to pay my bills for health care. But a funny thing happened that year. Without a full-time job, I was forced to hustle as a freelancer. I pieced together an income from contract work doing graphic design, freelance work, and a teaching gig at Discovery World. To my surprise, that year, I ended up earning almost twice as much as I did in my full-time role at Rockwell. What I learned from that experience is that with persistence and hustle, even in the worst times, there is yet a path forward. You know very well that our world is full of problems: human rights, global warming, and income equality, to name just a few. And as hopeless as it can seem sometimes, if we chart human progress from the dawn of man until now, things are getting better, even though the pace is anemic. Activist Rebecca Solnit wrote a book called Hope in the Dark in 2004 during the Iraq War. This passage feels as prescient and meaningful today as it did 20 years ago. She writes, "Of course we're going to lose a lot. We've already lost a lot, but we don't have to lose everything, and we don't have to surrender. Progress is made through civic deposits. Voting is a deposit, mentoring a younger artist is a deposit, refusing to be cynical in a loud world is a deposit. Engaging in the messy, slow work of democracy is how we prevent the humanity account from going bankrupt. It's slow, it's steady, and it's how we refuse to surrender. Be loud, MIAD graduates. The world is yours." And finally, if you remember just one thing that I said today, it's to open an individual retirement account on Monday morning. Thank you for your attention. On behalf of the faculty, congratulations again to the class of 20.
I shared this morning that in preparing for Adam's introduction, I read his student evaluations, and I didn't quite know what to do with the most effusive, spontaneous, heartfelt compliment about Adam's teaching, which was about tax preparation in the professional practice class. Now we understand, so thank you, Adam. Now I would like to welcome artist, educator, and longtime supporter of creative education, Amanda Singh, MIAD's board president. Amanda, welcome to the podium.
Good morning. My name is Amanda Singh, and it is my honor to serve as board chair for MIAD and to speak to you today on behalf of the Board of Trustees. Take a breath. In this room, you are surrounded by so many of your intersecting communities. Look around. We are all here: parents, friends, family, faculty, mentors, staff, classmates, critics, collaborators. These people represent years of support, challenge, care, and belief, and we are all gathered to celebrate your collective triumph. You made it, and you know what it took you to get here. Within these communities, you learned how to create, to iterate, to get back to it even when you felt stuck. In the critique process, you challenged yourself to consider what could be improved, strengthened, and clarified. You learned how to push through a problem until it became better. You learned and practiced resilience. These skills will serve you far beyond the studio. Because at some point, this room will change. Your communities might not feel as accessible or as close as they do now. The cheers will get quieter. Your ideas might get stuck without bouncing them off of the person next to you. And that's okay, because you can become a community of one. After all, there is only one person in this room who is guaranteed to be with you for the rest of your life, and that's you. So be the community you need for yourself. Develop your inner voice to be supportive and accountable. Be kind to yourself. That's really important. And when you're stuck, ask yourself what can be refined. People talk about resilience as something that's grand or abstract, and maybe it is, but it can also be much smaller. Sometimes it's just a deep breath and asking yourself, what's the next best decision? And the answer might be to take a nap or get outside. Sometimes it will be to begin again or to just show up. And sometimes the next best decision will be to call or text a friend, because even as a resilient community of one, you will need to plug back into your larger communities to recharge. And find your new communities, make them, join them, have several. Stay connected to MIAD and your fellow alumni. Seek out your MIAD professors and people who challenge and support you. Be that support for others. And again, breathe. You will soon be making work that will shape how people understand information, move through spaces, experience products, encounter stories, and sometimes rethink what beauty can be. That is profound and exciting. Remember this feeling. The loud applause is for you, and when it fades, remember to cheer for yourself too, especially as you keep going, keep creating, and making the next best decision. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, congratulations. We are so proud of you.
Thank you, Amanda. It is now time for us to prepare for the conferring of degrees. Before we begin, I'd like to share a little about the academic regalia you see today. The robes, hoods, and caps we wear reflect long-standing traditions in higher education. The colors of our gowns, hoods, and regalia often represent the places we attended and the degrees we have earned, and the fields of study we specialize in. Today, each MIAD graduate is wearing a yellow cord that signifies their major of illustration. Some students are also wearing maroon, white, and gold cords to signify membership in Alpha Lambda Delta, the National Honor Society recognizing academic excellence during a student's first year of college. Roughly 2/3 of our graduates today will receive an additional cord with their diploma to signify academic achievement, and we will acknowledge those honors as names are read. Today, across both ceremonies, 26 students have achieved the highest academic honor, summa cum laude, with cumulative GPAs between 3.9 and 4.0. They will receive a white cord. An additional 26 students have earned cumulative GPAs between 3.8 and 3.89, achieving the second highest honor, magna cum laude. They will receive a gold cord. Finally, 49 students have earned cum laude honors with cumulative GPAs between 3.5 and 3.79. They will receive a silver cord. And now, it is time to recognize the graduating class of 2026. Each graduate's name will be read by the chair of their department, Andy Bernier. Students in attendance will cross the stage and proceed to Jeff to receive your diploma. Will the first row of graduates please stand to receive your diploma?
Well, my name is Andy Bernier, and I'm the chair of the illustration department. And I have the pleasure of introducing the people who will be graduating and will have learned their degree, earned their Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in illustration. Liesl Barkai, summa cum laude. Kaylin Benson, minor in communication design, magna cum laude. Simon Brink, minor in communication design, magna cum laude. Ash Brown. Ashley Castrejon. I'm holding. Nisa Chittavong. Paige Kosiko, minor in book arts, magna cum laude. Aaron Covey, minor in communication design, magna cum laude. Cal Davis, cum laude. Jose Emmanuel de la Peña Sanchez. Lakin Deborah Dreyer, magna cum laude. Ishan Dutt. James Rigby Fector, minor in fine arts and new studio practice, cum laude. Alexis Fico. Aaron Fig Frazier, cum laude. Olivia May Fredrickson, cum laude. Phoenix Garcia. Caleb Joseph Gigas, cum laude. Ivy Greeley, minor in communication design, magna cum laude. Colleen Hackett, cum laude. Lizzie Hansen. Mac Horkey, minor in communication design, magna cum laude. Olivia Faith Eiding, minor in business and communication design, cum laude. EJ Jardine, minor in communication design. Nebby Jeffries. Nia Hristrova Katsarska. Kylie Madison Kenny, a student representative to the Board of Trustees, minor in Business and Communication Design, cum laude. Connie Kim, magna cum laude. Inkul Kim. Julius Koo, summa cum laude. Allison Langlois, summa cum laude. Taylor Linestock, summa cum laude. Jasmine Lohndorf. Mila Grace Levecki, summa cum laude. Samantha Mendez, minor in Communication Design, cum laude. Frank Merrill, summa cum laude. Haley Messeberg. Give me a second. Sylvia Munoz, minor in Communication Design, summa cum laude. Chloe Marie, cum laude. Anastasia Nevels. Daniel Perez. Abby Phillips, cum laude. Emily Porvin, magna cum laude. Caitlin Powers, minor in Communication Design, summa cum laude. Leandra Victoria Pricho, minor in Communication Design, magna cum laude. Paola Quezada, minor in art history. Cyril John Reyes, summa cum laude. Andrea Robleto, summa cum laude. Dylan Rogers, summa cum laude. Monty V. Rohr, magna cum laude. Alina Schreffler. Arden Schrader, summa cum laude. Allison Strauss, minor in communication design, magna cum laude. Tori Tyson. Cleo A. Van Dornick, cum laude. Torian Vaughn. Tina Voith, minor in games and interactive media, summa cum laude. Grace Weisner, minor in communication design, summa cum laude. Samantha Westfall. Kiera Wilson. Kyle Woodfin, cum laude. The following students have received their BFA in illustration with a focus in animation. Lex Behrens van Heest, cum laude. Brian Cahill. Julian Leo Caldwell Coyle, magna cum laude. Emily Christine Camp, magna cum laude. Wow. Nova Eridine Carlson. Cass Cook, cum laude. Parker Deutsch, summa cum laude. Emma Lou Erickson, cum laude. Melody Frias, a double major in communication design and summa cum laude. Daniel Gonzalez, magna cum laude. Aaron Haas, cum laude. Jada Marie Herrera, cum laude. Bo Jane Hobbs, cum laude. Coda Hunty. Leah Marie Crumry. Nico Kwasny, cum laude. Bill Lee. Abby Maloney. Grace Martin, magna cum laude. Bronze Mayhew. Alexis McConnell, summa cum laude. Gus McDonough, cum laude. Alacia Mercapel, summa cum laude. Autumn Neal. Maddie Phillips. Gwyneth Antoinette Pierce, cum laude. Michaela Grace Ryan, magna cum laude. Zuria Sol Sanchez, cum laude. Roas Schmidt. Star Elizabeth Cylon, magna cum laude. Olivia Singer, minor in sciences, summa cum laude. Nate Smith, Jr. Stella Strickland. Alyssa Satona Wells, cum laude. Nolan Roland Wolmer, magna cum laude. Aaron Woods, cum laude. Persia J. Wright. Charlie Yang. And Anastasia Zarina, summa cum laude.
Graduating class, please stand. Not yet, not yet. It's not official yet. One moment, please. The Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design, by virtue of the authority vested in the Board of Trustees by the state of Wisconsin and upon recommendation of the faculty, hereby confers upon you with all of the honors, rights, and privileges the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts. Graduates, please move your tassel from the right side to the left side. Now they have graduated. Congratulations.
Hello. That's right. I'm Kyle Hernandez, MIAD's Director of Alumni. The MIAD Alumni Association is a dues-free community of alumni promoting engagement and connection through events, philanthropy, and volunteer service, benefiting college, its students, and the greater creative community. Driven by a board of dedicated alumni volunteers, we invite graduates to stay connected with the college through volunteerism and joining us at our next alumni social event. As MIAD boldly looks to a shared creative future with our students, our alums, we welcome you to keep in touch and share all of your future successes, of which I'm sure there will be so many. It is my honor to welcome the class of 2026 to the MIAD alumni community. Congratulations.
So around the country at this point, college presidents have the privilege of giving a charge to the graduating class. What's a charge? It's sort of like an assignment that you will take with you for the rest of your lives. And I just saw someone go, oh God, not another assignment. This one I think you can lean into. And this year in particular, I looked to the students, to one of you, for my inspiration for the charge. It's my favorite time of the year when I can spend a few weeks thinking about how I want to frame this for you. And only for you as a class. As many of you know, and none of you know, once a month, about a dozen students and I sit down for lunch. And I know I'm not delusional. I know they're there for the free pizza. They are not there for me. But they show up, and I learn so much. I learn what it's like to be someone young and navigating a career, navigating an institution like MIAD. I learn about registration. I learn about other things, student organizations, and the ups and downs. And for that time, they have a chance to put an idea in front of me to make the college better. I start with one promise to the students when we sit down for lunch. I will honestly answer any question that you ask me. This has been a tough year. Our identities, our families, our heritage, our communities, education is in a very fragile place. So when I come into these lunches, part of me is very excited because I know I'm going to learn something. And part of me comes in with a little bit of trepidation, because what if they ask a question like, how are you going to keep the college safe today? We've had a town hall about that. There are questions that will come from the media. There will be questions that will come from beyond the boundaries of the college, and for which the college may have no answer. So I come into the meetings with a balance. It was a particularly rough week at one point when we had one of these scheduled. I came in, that nervousness. Students were in a great place. You did a great job. They were upbeat. They were focused on sort of the mission at hand. They were happy, to the point where I said, why are you so happy? It kind of threw me, because I live in the news and watching all of that. And one of the students, one of you said, I'm okay, I know my community has my back. And now for some of you, that community is one or two people that you surround yourselves with, or it's a little bit bigger, or it's everyone sitting around you today. Hopefully it includes some of us at some point. It includes the families sometimes, the friends. That's the community. I know my community has my back. So for you, my charge is simple. Be the member of the community that has somebody else's back. That's my charge to you. That's what I'm asking of you. And I know from having spent all of this time together that you're fully capable of completing that charge. A little bit of housekeeping. I'll ask the audience to allow the faculty and graduates to exit first. Graduates will be directed out of the theater to the Milwaukee Center. Family and friends can meet with their graduates in the Milwaukee Center. The senior exhibition is open until 5 today. Each year, our graduates select the music that will be played as we exit. Family, please direct all of your comments to your graduating student and do not send me the emails. I would appreciate that. And because this is such an august occasion, such an important occasion, we will have a special guest to help us exit the stage. We are using the code name Drywall, so some of you in the know will know, and it's okay if you don't, you'll get it in a minute. So, as we get ready to exit, the music will start.